There's a guy who wants to talk to you. What's he listening? Serious.
Here a crosshair, which was burned directly into the image from the film plate and thus should always appear on top of the objects in the photograph, appears behind the object in this scene, clearly revealing a composite of two pictures into one.
No, this is a bad reproduction. In this version, you can see that it's not behind it, it's just washed out due to the bright reflection of the sunlight, just like it is in these other high-res versus low-res images here. Then they talk about the lander needing to be covered in dust or in a hole, not understanding or caring that the moon dust wasn't that thick and was blown away by the tons of thrust of the rockets, and that the lander is now sitting on solid rock. They say that NASA just explains it away, when actually NASA just explains it. They then say that the astronauts should have been able to see the stars and show the astronauts in a press conference not being able to recall or describe the stars. The astronaut couldn't see the stars for the same reason you cannot see the stars in the daytime. The sun is too bright. The cameras had to be adjusted to let very little light in and avoid overexposure. Your eyes do that naturally. When someone shines a flashlight in your face, the rest of the world just seems to go dark and all you see is flashlight. Add to that the fact that the astronauts were essentially wearing the darkest sunglasses in the universe, and guess what? No stars.
While they took 3 automobiles to the moon, they never took a photographic telescope. Had they done so, they would have been able to see farther into the universe than had ever before been realized.
An astronomical camera was actually taken. See? These people are either ignorant or lying and relying on you to be ignorant. They then talk about the flag blowing in the wind. Now this has been disproven dozens of times. Mythbusters even did this one. There is no air. Without air, there is no resistance to the minor movements of the astronaut's hand, and the flag just keeps swinging until it winds down on its own. And if there was wind enough to blow the flag around chaotically, why isn't there dust being blown around? If there was air enough for wind, little dust clouds would puff up and drift around for a long time instead of just dropping back to the ground like they do. So their big thing is they talk about this footage of the astronauts practicing the big fake out. They say this video of the astronauts rehearsing before broadcast is proof that they're faking it. So here's the thing. NASA wanted to appear perfect. This was a big freaking deal. So what did they do? 1, they controlled the media's access. After all, you don't want something big and bad to happen and have everybody see it. Secondly, they recorded things that they did not send to broadcast. Some things they recorded for their own use and other things for public consumption. And last, they practiced. You don't start broadcasting without trying stuff out. They practiced the positioning of the camera. They practiced talking about what they're seeing. This wasn't like it is these days. The astronauts had no idea how things looked on the Earth end of this signal. So they transmitted to NASA. NASA recorded the transmission, played it back for review, and told them what it looked like. They tried shots from different ways to see which one was best. Before they did the real broadcast, they ran through it. They didn't want to look like idiots.
A crescent-shaped piece of black material was inset slightly into the window to create the illusion of the Earth's terminator line dividing night and day. It is uncannily convincing.
It was uncannily convincing because it was real.
If the window was completely filled up with a TV camera, as he stated, then an astronaut's arm would not be able to get between the camera and the window, as it obviously does here in this outtake.
South America becomes invisible just off beyond the terminator or inside the shadow.
You can also notice how the astronaut operating the camera reacted to the mistake by attempting to pan away from it.
Blue cab, see white bands, major.
Here again is where logic defeats them. If the Earth is filling the entire window and a little crescent shape has been put on the edge of the window to cover up part of it, why, when the camera shakes, does the Earth stay perfect within the window and the crescent? Wouldn't the different parts of the Earth get revealed or covered when the camera moves? Now, if you're having a hard time picturing it, I've set up a demonstration. You see, as I move the camera, parts of the Earth are revealed and hidden because my shot is fake. That's not what happens in the astronaut's video because theirs is real. Then the film tries to say that this Earth is really close outside the window, but they don't really provide any proof, and more likely it's just a very bright sunlight coming in because they took the covers off of the windows. The last real point they try to make is this.
On the 19th of July. And then the 20th. And the same misleading shot on the 20th. Later that evening, they were said to be walking on the moon. How can this be when they were in Earth orbit only 9 hours earlier, and the moon is some 3 days' journey away?
Well, you have to remember this. It's the makers of this documentary that say the astronauts were in Earth orbit 9 hours prior, not NASA. According to NASA, they started orbiting the moon late on the 19th. Now, I notice the date on this slate that they show that it's GMT, or Greenwich Meridian Time, which is a European time zone. And it may or may not be the 20th in the US. It could be late on the 19th. The moonwalk first happened on the 21st GMT, which was on the 20th in the US time zone. From this point to the end of the film, they don't really present any more evidence, just some more accusations and some more emotional manipulation, so I'm just going to stop here. But as you see, it was pretty easy to show that these people did not know what they were talking about, and in many cases, they were just playing lying. Now, I know there's nothing I can do to make you believe that the moon landing happened. People are entitled to their own opinions, but they're not entitled to their own facts. You can believe it's a hoax if you want, but you can't put this film out as proof, because this film is wrong.
That's my job! That's what I do! I don't lose! I win! Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Maybe you came by to congratulate me on last night's victory.